Right into this explainer and unpack the defining monumental health trend of 2026 that is completely reshaping modern medicine. We're looking at a landscape where treatments that were initially designed just for diabetes and weight loss are suddenly showing incredible promise across a stunning array of human ailments. It's truly wild. Here is our agenda for today. We'll be covering 1. The 2026 GLP-1 explosion, 2. Healing organs and hearts, 3. Curbing alcohol and cravings, 4. Protecting your muscle mass, and 5. Peptides, plants, and tech. Let's get right to it. Before we even look at the data, we really have to ask ourselves, are these weight loss drugs merely the opening act of a much larger shift in how we treat chronic disease? Because we're seeing early signals that GLP-1 receptor agonists might be a foundational key to unlocking treatments for conditions we never, ever originally associated with them. Section 1, the 2026 GLP-1 explosion. Let's see how this builds, starting with a massive survey of U.S. health and nutrition experts who are looking closely at what's coming next. A staggering 52% of these 58 surveyed experts named the expanding use of GLP-1 medications as the single most significant health trend of the year. This isn't just a minor blip, you guys. Over half of the experts surveyed by U.S. News & World Report agree that the expansion of these medications into new areas of chronic disease management is the defining shift of our current medical era. Now, while GLP-1s totally dominated the conversation, it's fascinating that experts also heavily emphasized food as medicine. We're talking about things like the Mediterranean diet and fiber as primary tools for disease prevention, tying for second place at 38%. Right alongside that, also at 38%, is AI-powered wearable tech giving you real-time metabolic feedback. It shows this fascinating dual approach to the future of health, right? Advanced pharmaceuticals on one hand and highly personalized tech-enabled nutrition on the other. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why GLP-1s are taking over and expanding their reach. Accessibility is changing. Novo Nordisk's newly approved Wegovy oral pills shows a massive 14% weight loss in clinical research. Compare that to just 2% on a placebo. By moving from a daunting injection to a simple daily pill, these medications are about to become vastly more accessible to patients who might be dealing with needle phobia or, just cold storage issues. It's a huge shift. Section 2, Healing Organs and Hearts. The crucial point here is that this is no longer just about obesity. Let's look at how these drugs are physically healing our vital organs, starting with a part of the body that often suffers silently. The UK Renal Pharmacy Group officially recommends that GLP-1s are safe and protective even for patients with advanced chronic kidney disease, end-stage kidney disease, and those who have had kidney transplants. Historically, there's always been hesitation about prescribing new drugs to patients with compromised kidneys, but large randomized controlled trials are demonstrating that these medications actually provide essential kidney protection. The reason this works so well is absolutely fascinating. Because these drugs are not metabolized by the kidney, they can be used with minimal risk at standard starting doses, and they can be up-titrated just like normal. Furthermore, they're officially indicated to reduce the risk of major adverse cardiovascular events. For a chronic kidney disease patient who is already at a super high risk for cardiovascular morbidity, this dual protection is absolutely massive. Section 3, Curbing Alcohol and Cravings. Now, prepare to be surprised as we shift from the metabolic system to the neurological system, specifically regarding addiction and how we process pleasure. This is a literal game changer for addiction psychiatry. A landmark trial in The Lancet just found that patients with alcohol use disorder taking semaglutide experienced a massive 41% reduction in heavy drinking days compared to a placebo. They also saw a much larger drop in their average daily drinks and overall alcohol consumption. So why does a weight loss drug stop you from wanting to drink? Well, it turns out these drugs don't just slow stomach emptying. They actually work centrally in the brain's reward center to effectively shut down dopamine-driven cravings. Patients report that they just don't get the same pleasure from alcohol anymore. The craving, which is a centralized function of the brain, is fundamentally altered. It's mind-blowing when you think about it. Section 4, Protecting your muscle mass. Let's dive into some highly practical advice, because rapid weight loss on GLP-1s comes with a significant catch: the risk of losing your lean muscle mass along with the fat.
To counteract this muscle loss, you absolutely must dramatically increase your protein intake. The general recommendation for a normal adult is about 0.8 grams, but on these medications, you need to almost double that. To put that into perspective, a 70-kilogram person needs between 84 and 112 grams of protein every single day, just to give the body the building blocks it needs for muscle repair while in a caloric deficit.
But listen, protein alone isn't enough. You must combine that protein with this exact strength training routine to signal your body to hold on to that critical muscle tissue while the medication reduces your overall mass. By training 2 to 3 times a week with compound movements like squats and rows in the 8 to 12 rep range, you are forcing your body to prioritize fat loss over muscle degradation. If you're on these medications, this routine is your absolute blueprint. Don't skip it.
Section 5. Peptides, plants, and tech.
Let's zoom back out to the horizon and explore the fascinating alternatives currently battling to be the next big thing in metabolic health, because the science definitely isn't stopping with semaglutide. We're currently seeing a beautiful contrast in the medical world. The cutting-edge check of the Stanford AI-discovered BMRP peptide battling against the ancient botanical supplement berberine, which has widely been dubbed nature's Ozempic. We've got a futuristic molecule designed by an algorithm on one side and a traditional plant compound on the other, both vying for a spot in the weight loss revolution. Let's look at the tech first. Researchers at Stanford literally used an AI algorithm called Peptide Predictor to sift through all 20,000 human protein coding genes to find the BRP peptide. In animal models like mice and mini pigs, this tiny 12-amino acid molecule remarkably suppressed appetite and reduced food intake by up to 50% without the nausea or muscle loss associated with current GLP-1s. It appears to act specifically in the hypothalamus, offering a much more targeted approach than Ozempic. On the flip side, we have berberine. It works differently, not by mimicking GLP-1, but by triggering the AMPK enzyme to increase fat burning. While berberine shows real promise in lowering triglycerides and improving cholesterol, it currently lacks the large gold standard clinical trials that back up pharmaceuticals. Furthermore, it carries the risk of gastrointestinal side effects and can interact negatively with certain medications, like anti-rejection drugs. I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to consider as the landscape of human health transforms right before our eyes. We have AI discovering targeted peptides, ancient botanicals being re-examined through modern science, and GLP-1s showing amazing promise for everything from heart disease to alcoholism. But as we rely more on these powerful interventions, we really have to ask ourselves, are we entering the end of chronic disease or just the beginning of a new dependency? What will the long-term impact on our biology be? Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the science as we navigate this amazing frontier.